Guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, you're welcome. My name is Emmy, and today we're going to be doing a story time. This story time is going to be about my baby and why I had to take her back to the hospital for a couple of days after she was born. Madam is here with us. She was trying to sleep, but immediately I started talking, she woke up. You guys see my life. I know the videos have been far in between, but you guys, I'm trying to adjust to mommy of two life. When they told me that the transition is not going to be easy, I was like, nothing they happen. Not with me. I got this. But you guys, I have to confess, I don't got this at all. Like, juggling two of them, when this one is resting, the other one wants something. My son wants something, and when my son is resting, my madam, she's now my madam, she controls my sleeping and my waking. My madam is not going to rest, so it's not been easy juggling everything, but I'm going to get a hang of it, sooner or later. Every mom does at some stage, but it's just not easy, the transition, especially if sometimes you don't get a lot of help. I have to tell you guys something. In this video, there might be nipple flashing. This is just a warning. Nipple flashing because of breastfeeding. There might be interruptions. There might be cooing. There might be tantrums. There might be baby noises. Just please bear with me. If not, this video is not going to get done today. If you are waiting for a perfect video without interruption, it no go happen. So please, just warning. I think I'll start the story from when I had her, or before I had her, maybe just before I went to the hospital for my scheduled C-section. For some reason, I was paranoid about jaundice. I don't know anybody with jaundice, but we have a family friend that their baby passed from jaundice, and because of that, I think I was paranoid. Wait, did I just say I don't know anybody from jaundice that had jaundice? But scrap that. So we knew someone that their baby passed, but I think from jaundice, and because of that, jaundice just got stuck in my head. Like, oh, so there's something called jaundice. Before then, I didn't know anything about it. If you want to know, please go and read. Go and read about jaundice. I can't be the one teaching you right now because I'm not very knowledgeable about the topic, but I can tell you what our experience was with jaundice at birth. So basically, when I went to the hospital, I was asked how far along the pregnancy was. I couldn't give the exact, precise, oh, we are 38 weeks. And that's because when I did the first scan, when I discovered I was pregnant, I misplaced that paper. So I couldn't tell how far the pregnancy had progressed, or precisely how far the pregnancy had progressed. And when I went to this new hospital, the doctor was like, he needs the scan from the first one to know the exact one. That these other scans, they can just kind of guess close to, but that first scan was the original scan we needed. But I didn't have it. They asked me well as I saw my period. Please, me, I know they remember all those kinds of things, and I didn't used to note it down. If period comes, it comes. If you no come, you no come. That was my lifestyle, but now I've changed. So I couldn't even give him an answer, and we just worked with the scans from when she was almost due, and it just looked like, yeah, this is the perfect time for this madam to come out before she pops out while I'm sleeping in the night, and then I can't get the scheduled C-section that I wanted. So I had the C-section. But the day after having her, newborns, they're always sleeping, but she opened her eyes, and I'm like, this girl's eyes, I'm seeing something there. He's looking yellow, he's not looking white. It's supposed to be shining bright. After all, you're coming from the inside, everything's supposed to be spick and span. And I told the doctors, I first of all told my mom, my husband, like, her eyes are a bit yellow. They're like, it's because you've been talking about this jaundice thing. I don't even know if I use my negative words to bring that jaundice to life. I don't know if that's what happened with me. But I was talking about jaundice before having the baby, and that was exactly what happened. So everyone was like, they can't see any yellowness. Maybe I'm paranoid. And I was like, okay, I might be paranoid because I feel I can see it. But since you people say you can't see it, it's fine. I mean, we'll watch it for a couple of days. So the routine the doctor or the hospital does is they check for everything, and they check for jaundice as well. And but the thing is, when they check on the first day, they might not say anything. If they check on the second day, they might not say anything. So it takes a couple of days before they can check to see if this child has jaundice. But I felt like I could see that the eyes were yellow. I felt I could see it. On the second day after my C-section, we got discharged. They did another test for her before we got discharged, and then we went home. When we got home, the day after, I looked at this girl's eyes. She opened her eyes. I'm like, no, these eyes are yellow. You guys cannot tell me anything. And I think that day my husband saw it too. He was like, yeah, it looks a bit yellow. By the time we got to the hospital, it was yellow. The hospital even called and said, bring the baby back. We need to do another test just to make sure that this jaundice is not there. But by the time we brought her back, they didn't even need to do tests. You can see the yellow eyes. So by then I had already started panicking, because I was like, oh my goodness, this jaundice that I heard about, that I'm scared about, it is what is happening. So we took her to the ICU, and they put her in this box, which is a transparent box, and she had to have phototherapy because it was not really serious jaundice. I guess there are different treatments for different levels of jaundice, but hers was just like this jaundice at birth, which they made me believe that it was common with a lot of newborns. And actually I met a few newborns in the is it neonatal ward, in the baby ward. I met a lot of newborns that had jaundice as well. And then I'm like, okay, so when you put her there, like I take her back, right? And doctor's like, no, you leave her here every day for the next couple of days. I'm like, no, hold up, how do I go home and explain that I did not come back with baby? I think that was the part that made me stressed out. How am I supposed to explain? I mean, people are calling that they are on their way to my house to come and see fresh baby. They want to see the newborn baby girl. And you're telling me she's not going to follow me home. Like, I was already panicking and just like, this is not happening to me. No, 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 no. And doctor told me she has to have this phototherapy. She has to be in this box 24/7. I'm going to show you guys. If I did a video of the box, if I don't find the video, I'm going to put the picture. So she was in a box. She didn't have any clothes on, and she just had a diaper, and she was in that box for 3 days. So every day they would do a test to see if the levels of, I think it's the levels of bilirubin, they call it, has dropped. And apparently jaundice is something like, it's a liver issue. So if there are some newborns, their liver cannot process, is it bilirubin properly, and so it's increased. That's what causes the jaundice, basically, like in my own simple understanding of it. And I'm like, geez, how could I have prevented it? But I don't think there's any prevention really. Like, your baby either has jaundice or does not. I think that's how it works. But you can go on Google and educate yourself on it. This is why you should use Google, even though Google will make you feel like the child is about to die. So I had to leave her in the hospital, and that was the toughest bit for me. You guys remember when I had the baby and it looked like I was so productive a few days later, and people were like, how are you on social media after having this baby? Are you not supposed to be stressed out, sleeping and all that? But no, because I had a lot of free time on my hands, the nurses told me, madam, go home. I told them I was going to stay in the hospital with the baby, but they're like, first of all, we're not going to be able to allow you stay here with the baby because we don't want any of these babies to get infection, and you can't do anything for the baby really. There's nothing. Your presence does not mean nothing to her. Just leave her, she'll be fine. So I had to drop formula, drop her nappies, her wipes, and that was it really, you guys. She was naked all through. They were feeding her, and I just thank God it's a good hospital. They were taking really good care of her. They were feeding her with a syringe, and she was going through the phototherapy. And I was just like, when she cries, what do you guys do? They're like, yeah, they console them when they cry, and then they put them back in the box for more phototherapy. And you guys, it was one of the saddest moments after having my baby, but thank God it was a temporary issue. And it made me feel very bad, especially for women that had a baby and the baby dies and they came home without a baby. My own situation was just temporary, but I was just thinking about, wow, so there are actually people that go to the hospital and come back without a baby. Like, how do they feel? Most like I felt empty. That's the word. I came back and I just looked around. I could just see her baby stuff, the blankets, the cots, everything baby that I had for her, and she wasn't here. I cried, you guys. I locked myself in the room and cried my eyes out. My husband was like, "It's nothing to worry about. After a few days, she'll be back." But to me, it was just a weird experience. It's just a weird experience. And I used to go to the hospital every day to check up on her, and we could not stay in the hospital because obviously you cannot be in the ward with her, and they'll tell you, this is not a hotel, we don't have bed for you, we have patients. Unless you want to be sitting down outside in your car or in the reception, then there's absolutely no need for you to be here. So we had to go home and of course prepare for her naming ceremony, which was annoying. Princess. So I was asking, is there a way we can postpone this naming ceremony? If you guys follow me on Twitter, Twitter is where you can read my mind. I was posting on Twitter, must naming ceremony be exactly 8 days after having the baby? Must you do this? Must you do that? But apparently you must. And I was like, okay. On the day of her naming ceremony, Madam was still in the hospital. I had to go to the hospital that day, and I was like, please, are you guys sure? This thing has not reduced, but thankfully that was the day it reduced, and they told us we could take her home. So we took her home, and we got home like about an hour before the naming ceremony started. So if you probably came for the naming ceremony and you saw that we were tired and exhausted, that's why this girl did not sleep in the house that day. She was stressed out. Me, I was stressed out. Her daddy was stressed out because we were driving to and fro every day going to see her. And the hospital is really far from where we live. So it was not easy doing that journey every day. And of course, we still had a toddler to take care of. So it was a tough couple of days. She was home just in time for her naming ceremony, because I was just thinking to myself, are we going to do the naming ceremony without her? Like, that was the plan. Like, if she didn't come home with us, if when we went to the hospital, they told us that the levels of bilirubin were still high and you can't take her home, we would have done the naming ceremony without her. And I don't even know how to explain. To me, that's just weird. Just as weird as people getting married without the partner being there. I'm like, how can you name somebody in their absence? It's weird. I've never seen it before. So I'm just grateful that everything got sorted out. She came home, but we had to take her to the hospital the next day, and for a couple of more days till everything totally cleared and the eyes became white. The eyes are bright white right now, like always shining like torchlights. I feel like I have to share this story time because I've never seen it before. I've never seen anyone's experience with jaundice. And just to let you know, if you encounter it, because it looks like something that is quite common, if you encounter it, do not panic. Don't panic, mama, because I was panicking and crying and feeling so sad and trying to block everything by being so productive, editing my vlogs and all that, writing more articles and everything. Don't panic. Just take it easy, take it one day at a time, pray for your baby. And if you have a feeling of something, don't dismiss it. I feel like God gave mothers and gave parents and gave all of us, in fact, this, what they call it, intuition, like to know that something is happening. You might not be able to place your fingers on it, but if you feel something is weird, then maybe something is probably weird. If I wasn't paying so much attention to my child, like looking at her eyes, checking everything might have been dismissed until it was maybe at a critical point. And then imagine if you didn't go to a really good hospital where those were one of the routine checks. I don't even know the story would have been saying by now. As a parent, you need to follow your intuition a lot of the time. I'm just happy this madam is healthy. She was 3 months old on the 22nd of May. So she's, what, is that 12 weeks or 13 weeks or 14 weeks? How old are you, baby girl? She's not happy. She wants some boobies. So that was what happened to us with the jaundice. You can look up jaundice. and there are so many causes. There's just not one thing that you can say, oh, this is what I did and this is why this child has jaundice. There's so many reasons, and I kind of feel like one of the reasons was that she wasn't 100% cooked. I don't know. I feel that's one of the reasons, because they mention it there, that it happens especially to babies that are born between 35 weeks to like 38 weeks. And I'm beginning to feel, when I thought she was 38 weeks, maybe she was 37 weeks, maybe, I'm just saying. But she came out at a good weight. She was like 3.6 kg. I don't know what caused it at that moment, but I'm just happy that she's fine now. If there's anything you've experienced while you had your baby that you just didn't think was going to happen, let me know in the comment section. This was my experience. I didn't really tell anybody, and to be honest, only a few of, like, handful of my friends know. A lot of people that are even close to me did not know this was happening. They just saw us on the naming ceremony and everything looked normal, but oh boy, everybody just a rush, make sure everything look picture perfect. So yeah, that's what happened. That was why Tiara, we had to take her back to the hospital. She stayed in the hospital for 3 days. Was it 3 days? Yeah, I think she stayed in the hospital for 3 days. My chest. That was such a tough moment. But I thank God for everything now. And yeah, we're okay now. We're healthy. I hope you guys enjoyed my story time. If you have questions, leave it in the comment section. A lot of you are asking me about the hospital I had my baby. I'm going to put information and the link below so you can check them out. It was a really good hospital, and I actually recommend them, because if it wasn't a good hospital, I don't know, a lot of the situations we faced might have been a different story. So yeah, really good hospital. I feel like videos where I have to sit and chat might be the next couple of videos I will do, because I realize it's been difficult to set up stuff and film really exciting videos for you guys. So we're going to be doing a lot of story times, a lot of discussions, and so on and so forth. So hope you guys enjoy the upcoming videos. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye. Princess! Princess!